Hey everybody, it's Norris with the Norris Group. It is March 13th, Friday the 13th, and real estate. Are you ready for the coronavirus? That and much more as we cover the biggest headlines in real estate. Up on the radio show this week, it's a little scary. I've never prefaced it with this before, and this is probably one of the biggest shows that we've done since we've been doing this show for 13 years. Raoul Paul of Real Vision is our guest, and he's a very well-known macroeconomist as well as a hedge fund guy. And we talk a lot about not just the virus that's happening, but some of the potential ramifications now and in the future for not just the real estate market, but for the financial situation for a lot of retirees, and ultimately who's holding the bag of some of the risk on things like corporate credit. So I want to give you a heads up. It's a little scary, but the show today we're going to talk about a little bit more on the resource side, so it's not as scary. But just be forewarned, it is a little concerning, but we're always leading with data and we want you to be prepared, so let's get to it. So the real estate industry has largely gone on lockdown, not just in California, but nationwide, as the nation's national associations try to assist in limiting large groups. Technology, real estate, and all the marketing and public relations events that I have access to and get notifications for have thus far canceled, trying to limit exposure. So California Governor Newsom has also ordered a statewide shutdown of events over 250, and many different states will probably follow suit. Realtors and especially lenders I've spoken to this week have had a very busy week. They're a little bit excited. You need to know that the next couple of weeks are probably going to be a little scary and things are going to change. So I'm not going to focus a lot on the headlines that are out today. I'm going to be focused in on what's going to happen over the next 2 weeks. Test availability has been one of the biggest sources of concerns. A lot of the the hospital community and the healthcare industry don't have the test kits, so we really know exactly what's going on. So that'll probably be fixed in the next week or so. And that's not going to be very positive. We're going to find out that probably more people have it, and you just need to be prepared for it. I was in New York City during 9/11, and I know what it feels like to show up at a grocery store with empty shelves, to be on lockdown with nothing to watch but the news and to freak yourself out. And you just have to understand this is going to be a little bit scary for a bit. So real estate community, this is where Main Street is really going to play an important role. And I'm here today to give you some resources to know how you can sort of be a beacon of light when things are a little dark, especially over the next couple of weeks. Let's do it. So first of all, the CDC, probably one of the best sources so far for information. They put together a list for businesses on how to prepare your business for a pandemic. That is very cool. It's a 2-page form. It's a checklist formats to get you thinking through all the things that you need to prepare for now, economically, for your teams, to keep your team safe. Highly recommend it. I'm going through it today with my team to make sure we're all ready to go in case we need to work from home, the financial impact, all that kind of stuff. So on our website, all the resources that I talk about on this video are going to be on our blog link directly. So just go to thenorrisgroup.com/blog. You'll find this post and you'll be able to find the links that I'm talking about. But this list is very cool, very helpful. And besides, you'll be able to go to the CDC to get all the latest updates on COVID-19 or the coronavirus. Okay, realtors, you're up first. First of all, there's obviously some things you're going to do. You're going to limit open houses, but please make sure you have good pictures and Matterport virtual tours. The fact that I even have to tell some of you this is embarrassing. Do a good job on the pictures so people at home, because they're going to have nothing to do, can be looking at great photos of your clients and their projects. That's a no-brainer. Go virtual and work as much from home as possible, and also look into resources for your teams to do the same. Here on Main Street, realtors, you are going to be leading the charge for local resources. This is what Wall Street can't do that you can't. So did you recently sell a home to a property owner that's not from the area? Now would be a good time to give them a call, ask how they're doing, and ask if they have any questions and where to find resources. They might not know where to start, and you better be prepared. Don't speculate and don't add to the fear. Focus on data and resources and just the facts. 1031 exchanges. When there's a presidentially declared disaster, which will most likely help today, there's a good chance there may be an extension for the 45-day identification period or the 180-day timeline when either the property or key players in the transaction is for some reason disrupted. So the IRS will post those announcements, and on our website we'll link to the direct spot where you're going to find those. So the latest example of that are the tornadoes in Nashville. They posted an update there. So keep an eye out on the IRS website for updates about 1031 exchanges. Mortgage pros, you are probably going to be very busy. So everybody's calling you thinking they're going to just get this amazing rate, and then they're very disappointed to find out you've raised rates because your phone is just going off the hook. That might be the case for the next week, and it could slow down. We don't know, but you're going to be taking several calls of those, so we'll see. As people miss payments, though, you may also be getting the call of what to do. So we'll find out what the federal government decides to do as far as resources for people not being able to make their payment, but just some ideas to get in the way of that. Leverage videos and audio recordings to help your clients. So if you're on the phone a lot and people are calling and leaving messages, sometimes if you can leave a recording on your hold thing, telling them the latest updated information, drive them to your website where maybe you've created a video of daily updates. Just give them resources and where to go. It might end up saving you a lot of grief and helping them get the resources they need as quickly as possible. Property managers and landlords, you are also going to have a busy probably month or two. As certain pieces of the economy slows or stops, realize some tenants will face severe economic challenges. When events, schools, sports, and daycares are canceled, that means kids are home, and sometimes so are the parents. So realize some families greatly rely on food programs at schools. It might not just be the rent they're missing, it might be food. So you need to be very mindful and prepared. Los Angeles and San Francisco are pushing for a moratorium on evictions, and as the president announces a national emergency, I suspect something will be done around this, but it's likely going to happen that a moratorium on evictions nationwide will probably be put in place. Same with utilities, will likely do the same for shutoffs, people not making their payments, and maybe even Fannie and Freddie will do something in the loan department. But property manager and landlords, you need to prepare the scenario of tenants missing rent. Look at your cash flow situation, talk to your clients, and really think about how to manage those knowing your options will be limited. You're also going to become an important resource for tenants. So monitor local, state, and federal resources coming out that can help your tenants make their rent and may be available to you, and how to engage your tenants and some things that might be available to you. That'll come out, and of course, as they do, we'll report them on Fridays. All right, now let's talk about resources for all of us. It's not all positive, and hopefully none of this stuff you're going to have to worry about, but we're going to prepare you just in case. So 211 is a great resource. I happen to be the board chair of Riverside County 211, and if you're not familiar with it, it's a health and human services hotline, but they've also got websites. So every community, at least across California, has a local 211. So here in Riverside County, we have over 1,000 government and nonprofit programs that can help with everything from rental assistance to food. And these resources are going to be taxed. I would ask you not to call 211, but go to their website. If you have a tenant looking for a specific resource or a specific need, look up 211, enter the county that you're in, you're going to find the website, and see if you can find the information yourself without calling, if at all possible. Also, go to your county and city websites. Start looking around and finding out where they're putting their resources for the county. It's going to be different in every city and county, so start looking for those local resources. Main Street, this is where we're going to shine. Get to it. So how else can you help? Let's talk about time, talent, and treasure, the 3 T's, my favorite. So first of all, treasure. You need to realize that some arts organization could be completely annihilated by this. They're having to cancel shows, and this is the lifeblood of what keeps them around. If you have a ticket to a theater or a music event, think about donating that money back if you can. If you don't need it and you can afford it, please consider doing that. It would be greatly appreciated for those organizations. Also, be aware that your local nonprofits are going to struggle with very high need with lowering economic availability for people doing donations and as they cancel fundraisers. I've already had a really sad call with a friend that they canceled 2 fundraisers that meant over $300,000 to their organization, and comments were already made about, I don't know if we're going to make payroll. You just have to understand there's going to be some scary things that happen, and just be mindful. If you've got the treasure and you can plug in and be a support, now is the time to make those phone calls and help out. Time and talent. So you're at home and there's nothing to do but stress yourself out by watching a whole bunch of politicians yell at each other and not provide people calming information. So get out of the house or get on the phone. Call your local nonprofit, your churches, your local schools, and find out how you can plug in. Can you donate your voice, get on the phone, help with resources, volunteer, whatever you can do, it's time to give a call and see what's up. Finally, I want to leave you with this. During 9/11, I learned that sometimes during very scary moments in history, you expect the worst, but sometimes you get to see the beauty of humanity coming together and us acting literally as Americans. I think some people think it's cheesy sometimes at the end of I Survive Real Estate when Dad says it's time for us all to be Americans instead of Democrat, Republican. And this is one of those times, and I'm hoping it is one of those times, but you can be a leading charge for that cause. So look for the best in people, be the best that you can be, and get in there and do a great job. We'll be fine. It might be a couple scary months, but we'll get through it. If I missed anything, please list your comments, some extra resources that I forgot down below. We'd love to have them. And when we do future videos, we will post them on our blog and try to keep everybody updated. With that, have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next week.